and welcome to episode 14 of the Tyddyn Bryn podcast. My name is Ellie, and it's been since March, I think about the week before my baby was due, since I videoed last, so a lot to tell you about. The baby is hopping around in his jumperoo just to this side of me, so if you hear all sorts of little musical noises or jumping about and general squeaking, it's because he's within meters of me. I'm sure you'll see plenty of pictures of bits and pieces I've made though through the podcast, so you'll see plenty of him as well. So lots have been happening. I've split the podcast down now into two different podcasts. So we've got this week on the small holding. Started off as this week on the small holding. It's now just on the small holding because I'm putting them out as and when I get enough videos to put in about 10 minutes of video. And I feel like I've done enough now. I've certainly got enough acquisitions. This stack here that's almost shoulder height is a pile of acquisitions I'm going to show you about in a bit. So I've certainly got quite a few things done, and especially considering I've got two smalls running around the place and my knitting time is really limited now to just the evenings. I've recently started to get back on the sewing wagon as well, so there's some bits and pieces of sewing to show you. And hopefully there'll be lots to show you now, so I'll be able to keep back to my fortnightly schedule that I tried to sort of start before I had baby Matthew. So on with the rest of the podcast. Right, so on to knitting. I got quite a few knitted finished objects, mainly because I got fed up with knitting some of the big stuff like the Weasley. It got too hot for the Weasley, to be fair. It really got too hot for the Weasley. We had a big chunk of time, so 10 weeks with no significant rainfall, and it was roasting, and it was like knitting sitting there with a massive great blanket over my knees, and I couldn't do it. So I decided to pick up my needles with some little projects on, because I also needed to just finish. Just wanted to get a lot of things finished. I was going through a bit of a phase of I don't feel like I'm getting anything done. Between the toddler, the baby, the sheer volume of work that we seem to need to do constantly here on the farm, which I love, but I just never felt like I was finishing or doing anything to the fullest extent. So I needed to just have quick, easy finishing projects. You can hear my little boy running around downstairs. Any shrieks and yells, he's learned to screech, and it's beautiful. Literally, it is toe curling, the screaming. But anyway, finished objects. I've got quite a lot of finished knitting objects. I've got quite a lot of half finished, half started, all sorts of bits and bobsies, but we'll get there. So I have finished an adult size giant pink sparkly hat with bobble. It's all very sparkly. I finished a toddler-sized version of it with giant bobble. So that's a little project I've been knitting up for a couple of friends of mine, or a friend of mine and a friend of William's, shall we say. So they've been knitted up. I've done a little blue one, again toddler-sized with massive bobble on the top. Haven't decided. It's probably a large baby rather than a toddler, especially with heads the size of my boys have. So this will probably fit Matty through the winter. It's probably a bit short depth wise for William. Haven't even tried it on his head, to be fair. I've hidden it from him because he's rather obsessed with hats, and as it's all big thick wool, it's the last thing I want him to get his hands on, because he'll want to, if he likes things, he'll want to wear them constantly. And a big thick woolly hat in the sun, no, I don't even want to go there, so I've hidden it from him. I've also then made the Velvet Acorn has got a lovely hood pattern for it's small people ranging up to adults. It's called I think I'm pronouncing this right, the Phelan Fox Cowl. It's on Ravelry, and it's the Velvet Acorn that does the pattern. Hey, check my memory out on that one. Didn't even have to look for anything of that. And I've made lots of these little hoodies. I've changed the ears. They on her thing, she's got different patterns in it. I've done it completely plain, and I did little bear ears from my little bear pattern, just simple little curly ears. I didn't want to be messing around with great big double lined, I mean they're beautiful, but I didn't want to be messing around with great big double lined things. As I said, I just wanted quick easy finishes. So I have done one small, I've done one medium, so we got baby bear, mummy bear, that's more of a child size to be fair. So we got baby size, or toddler size, child size, and a teenage size in those. So they're like snuggly cowls. So I've done those. Again, I'm trying to stash bust as well and use up some of my yarns I seem to have acquired that I just want to use them up, get them gone, get them done and dusted. So I've got no real plans for them. They're just sort of sitting there gathering dust, and so I'm just using them up, stash busting them. And I then knitted up a teddy bear hat, same ears, with ear flaps and giant pom-poms. I'm not going to try it on. Again, it's a large child sized, that one. So that's another knitted finished object. So that's the knitting finished objects. Haven't quite decided what I'm doing with those. Some of those might go as Christmas presents. Some of them might be used for my boys. Other than that, I haven't really decided what I'm doing. If I haven't got a present or a gift for them, I might just stick them in the shop, see what we do. So I have started, oh, there's one of my pattern acquisitions sneaking out of my bag. I will do that properly though in a patterns acquisitions, because I have acquired quite a few patterns recently. Again, another problem I seem to have acquired. I've started another one of the very sparkly pink hats. Just a simple double knit pattern that I'm making up anyway as I go along. A couple of friends of mine have either been due to have a baby or have just had a baby, and I'm knitting up some different things. So this I will need to look up. It is from Handmade in the UK by Tink Hand Knits, and they are the designs by Emily Wessel of Tink Hand Knits. And this one is the Vivid blanket. The Vivid blanket, and it is lovely. It is lovely. I'm not going to do it completely like that. I plan to do a mixture of vivid colours, and these are my sock yarns, so they'll be blocked out. They'll be lovely once they're blocked out. These squares, they're really, really pretty, really pretty. So I'm going to do a mixture of these pattern squares. Here's a green one I've done. And then I'm just going to unravel a skein of plain BFL sock yarn and do some of those, and I think that'll be quite effective. Just do some plain squares rather than some pattern squares. So keep the coloured ones as the pattern squares, and then just knit some plain garter or stocking stitch squares to go in between them, break them up a bit. But yeah, so I'm just using up oddments of sock yarn. So I'm going to do one of these for a friend of mine who's just had a little boy, and another friend of mine is due rather soon, so I'm going to get knitting on these and try and make up a couple of baby blankets, as well as the hats and everything else. I can't remember whether I showed you this one or not. This is my hazel shawl. It is now finished. I still have not blocked it. The next time I speak to you, I will have blocked it. Mark my words, I will have blocked it. This is a skein of Indian Giant Squirrel by River Knits. One skein of it has done the whole shawl. It's a small shawl, it's something I have designed. It's hazels. I'm going to be looking for test knitters as soon as I get the pattern written up, but I'll keep you informed on that. And it is little leaves. So there's a double layer of leaves. There's a leaf up here and there's a leaf down here, and when it's blocked they will block out to points. Each of these leaves block out to a point, and yeah, I think it's a nice plain shawl. Shows off the really nice variegated yarn of River Knits, and nice little leaf detail, and they stick out quite nicely at the end once they're blocked. I have made one of these shawls before. I designed this shawl originally as part of I made a shawl for everybody at the wedding. I made a shawl for my two bridesmaids, my sister and my best friend Christina, and I made a shawl for my mum and my mother-in-law, and then for my grandmother. My grandmother had the original version of this, and for James's Auntie Anne. Now, for my mother and James's mother, I bought patterns online, but for Granny and for Auntie Anne, I decided I'd have a go at designing a couple of simple patterns. So this was the first one. As I said, this was my grandmother's pattern, which I knit up in a green yarn. I will try and link it through on my Ravelry profile if people want to have a snoop on that one. And the other one I am currently reknitting, and I'm reknitting this one. This is a skein of the Owl About yarn, what she called it, Tibetan Owl, and it's in the colourway Violet, and it's superwash merino, silk and yak, this particular blend on her yarns. Knitting up lovely. It's got a really nice drape to it, and with the silk and everything as well. You really can't see it very well at all. I can't pick which of the lights. I've got a big window here, and I've got the skylight up here, and I don't think that's doing me any favours this time around. So this is the other one. Again, it's going to be a plain starter, and then down towards the edge there's going to be a detail around the edge, and this is going to be called the Jewels shawl. So jewels. So you've got jewels and hazels, and again, once I've knit this one up and got it written up, I will be looking for test knitters. So there are 2 shawls in the making that I will be looking for test knitters for. Okay, other finished objects. I think I was still working on these Chapama bobbers the last time I spoke to you. Sorry, I'm hunting through my basket. I've got my giant knitting basket here. You're okay, baby? He's now in his chair. Anyway, I promise there are 2. The other one is buried at the bottom of my basket. So these are the socks I was knitting for my husband. Just simple, plain vanilla socks. Flap and gusset construction. 76 stitch around just to give him the space cross. I use 2.75mm needles. This is in Weaver's Loft, and I think that's my lot for the moment. Bear with. So, saved by the daddy. Daddy came and collected him, and also told me that dinner's nearly ready. So I have got scant minutes to finish off the last few bits. So I was talking about these socks. So these are Weaver's Loft sock yarn, and very nice solid wool. They're slightly thicker than the normal sock yarn I use, but it's good solid sock yarn. So I think come this winter, when I finally allow James to wear them, because I finished them ages ago and hid them in my basket. So come this winter, he's going to enjoy wearing these. They'll be really nice and warm and snuggly on his feet. So ta-da! I know it looks like a hoe, but it is a finished object. Honest. Now, the Weasley jumper. Beam, beam, beam. One giant ball of wool has turned into this. So I've done a fair bit. The last time I showed it to you, I might need to stand up for this one, so I do apologise. Oh, yes, I will. Okay. The last time I showed it to you, it was there. So I have gone round and round a few more rows to get it to the armholes. And then I have, because I'm knitting it completely in the round, I'm not fartassing about with sewing up. Can't stand it. Absolutely can't stand it. So everything, if I can get away with it, I will knit it in the round, and I will pick up and knit, and anything to not have to sew. I will sew in the odd end. I will crochet things together for blankets and things. Happily crochet things together. Sewing up, ugh. Don't get me wrong, I love machine sewing. I love making all the bits and pieces, but dear God, no. No, no, no. So yes, I've done that. I've picked up the stitches for the neckline, and I knit a couple of rows on it. There's a couple of rows knitted there, and then it got too hot. So I've got literally the neck and the sleeves to do, and I am done. So I will take off my progress keeper. My progress keeper is, turn it around, a little tiny TARDIS. And that's one of Jenny from All About Yarns progress keepers that she makes. They're on her Etsy shop. And I will now hook it into one of the stitches on the neckline here. Because, to be fair, it might take me a while to pick it back up again because I've got a few other things now on there. But hooked back in now onto the neckline right next to the cable. And hopefully that'll get some love again soon. What I did for the sleeves as well, rather than sew up for the shoulders, sorry, not the sleeves, is a 3-needle bind off. So I find it gives you a nice, neat bind off. Yeah, you've got a little line across it, but nice, neat bind off. I love it. And you don't have to sew them up. Right then, on to acquisitions. So, as I said earlier, this shoulder height pile that's sat next to me is just a few acquisitions. Since the baby was born, I don't think I've acquired any... No, I've acquired one skein of yarn, and I'll have to run down and get that, so that'll be another separate segment of video I'll shoehorn in. And I've also made a skein of yarn, so again I'll show you that one as well. So there's been 2 yarny acquisitions, I suppose, but I didn't pay for either of them, so do they really count? Anyway, this pile is fabric. I seem to have a slight new problem. So in addition to the yarn addiction, I seem to have developed a rather dreadful fabric addiction. Not a bad thing in the slightest, but it is an expensive habit. So anyway, fabric I've acquired. This one I didn't pay for. This one my mum gave me. I have got meters of this lovely fabric, which will be fantastic for something for the boys. So I'm either thinking cushion cover, chair cover. They've got a chair bed down in their room, but maybe cushion covers or chair bed covers or something along those lines with this one. My mum has made a lovely applique bit to go on William's school bag, and once I finished it, I've got some clear plastic, sorry, it's just above me here. Once I finished putting the clear plastic on and sewing it onto a school bag, I shall bring that on the podcast and show you. But she's done a fantastic bit of applique for his school bag, because I picked him up a cheapy rucksack, didn't have time to make with Matthew, etc, etc, and I picked him up a cheapy one, and I want to just cover it up and make it a bit more him, because this cheapy rucksack is just bleh, and also enormous, so he looks really, really cute going into and coming out of nursery with this giant rucksack on his back, so I couldn't resist that bit of it. Anyway, other acquisitions. Mum went to Unravel in Farnham, and she also went to, what's the other one called? Not Unravel, I mean Thread in Farnham, and she picked some fabrics for me, again for the boys. So we've got these lovely Space and Rockets. I'm thinking this might make some very nice Oliver and S sailboat tops, possibly. And check out the robot fabric. How amazing is that? Hi, Matty. How amazing is that? So my mum bought me those from Thread in Farnham, because Mum lives up near Farnham. From the same company then, because I of course had to look online. There's going to be a bit of crinkling now, I'm sorry, these are still in their plastic bags. I then went ahead and picked up this one. This is a jersey fabric. The last 2 were cottons. This one's a jersey fabric. James has said he's hoping that William's not going to colour in the animals. I'm half tempted to give him some fabric pens and say, go ahead, get on with it, get it over and done with. But I also quite like just the plain black and white fabric. So it could be quite entertaining though. I will certainly, if he does get his hands on the fabric pens, or any pens for example, for that, I will definitely take photos of the results if he does decide to colour them in. I think that could be rather fun. And then from the same company again. This is Lovely Jubbly Fabrics. They are online at www.lovelyjubblyfabrics.co.uk, and they sell all sorts of fabrics, absolutely all sorts. And this is an exceedingly soft flannel. It's called the Bigfoot Boogie. All different Bigfoots. But I thought this would make fabulous pyjamas for the boys. And look at the little owls as well on there. So I thought this would make fabulous winter pyjamas for the boys. Because it does get very chilly here. So I bought a metre of that. And I thought at least 2 pairs of trousers I'll get out of those. So yeah, I signed up obviously for the newsletter for Lovely Jubbly Fabrics. And some new fabrics came through the other day on email, one of which was Harry Potter fabric, and it's jersey fabric. I love my jersey fabrics. I think they make really comfortable, fabulous clothes. But this is the Marauder's Map fabric. Now, my sister has been reading Harry Potter to my nephew, who is 6, and he is obsessed. Last Christmas I made him a wand. A few other bits and pieces have gone his direction in regards to Harry Potter, but I'm thinking this might just be the pinnacle. So I'm going to be looking for a pattern now to make something for him out of this for his Christmas present. I bought a couple of meters of it, I couldn't resist. And then if I've got any leftovers, I might make a few bits and pieces for the shop, but we'll see. But Harry Potter fabric, Marauder's Map. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. She has got some cottons, the Lovely Jubbly Fabrics. They have got some cottons in all the different house colours. So there's like a Gryffindor cotton. Anyway, I didn't go down that route. Not just yet. Not when you see the rest of the pile, which is now half a shoulder height. Still to go. So, anyway, I went on the Stoff and Still website. Teeny tiny elephants. I collect elephants. I am crazy for elephants. I pick up elephants anywhere and everywhere, and I just had to have that. I think that's going to make amazing. Probably an Agnes top or something like that for myself. More stuff for the boys. Again, these are all jersey fabrics now. The next few I'm going to show you are all jerseys. So this is some fabric transport fabric. Fabulous transport fabric for the boys. Some Buzzy Wuzzy Bees. And last but not least, hedgehogs. Some little hedgehogs on grey jersey as well. So I've got a good metre of all of those to make something out of. I then have picked up, my little boy has gone completely and utterly Toy Story mad. So I picked up some cotton. It's all foldy weirded. Cotton, Toy Story fabrics. We've got Jessie and Buzz and Woody's in there somewhere. I'm not going to completely unfold it just to find Woody. So that'll be something for my little boy, who is, as I said, Toy Story mad at the moment. And seeing that one makes me realise there's one missing. Hang on a moment. So, found the missing fabric. It was just under the pile. It had just been moved around. My little boy has been rearranging things somewhat. But this other one is large. Again, I'm not going to unfold it so you see the complete design. Large Star Wars fabric. So again, that's a cotton Star Wars fabric. So I've got a few ideas for that one in the pipeline. We will see. Then, round about my birthday, Mum and Dad came down, and Mum and I went off into Newcastle Emlyn, and I had some birthday money from my grandmother and decided to spend it on some fabric for me, because I've acquired a couple of dress patterns, the York Pinafore, and I've also gotten a pattern by Meg McElwee from So Liberated. I think I picked up a few of her patterns, the gypsum skirt, there's a little dress that she's got, and one other one. I can't for the life of me remember. I'll have to check on that and fill you in on those. Maybe I'll do pattern acquisitions in my next podcast because this is probably going to be quite a long one with all the fabric acquisitions. So this is one of my birthday fabrics. It's a very simple cotton, and then a great hulking chunk of, I don't know if this blue is going to show up very well, a really nice sort of purpley blue. I don't know if it's helping having that skylight bit open behind me, but yeah, sort of purpley blue anyway. So that's going to be a dress or two. And then I made recently for a friend's little girl, a little girl I used to teach actually, a load of bibs, a combination of feeder bibs and day-to-day bibs. This little girl has significant special needs, and beautiful young lady, absolutely beautiful young lady. But as with everything, the moment you put special needs in front of it, the price trebles. So I looked for bibs. They were either the awful tartan feeder bibs for the elderly, or rather expensive bibs. So I went on eBay and I picked up some pretty cottons. There's a mixture there of the cottons that I've been using. I've got a few leftovers because I bought extras because I've got some other ideas for different bits and pieces I want to do with them. And I picked up some terry toweling and some ripstop fabric for the waterproof backing. I made up a pattern and I made, goodness, 12, I think it was 12, 13, 14 ordinary bibs, so day-to-day bibs, and 6, 7 feeder bibs, which I sent off, and it worked out cost price for those particular ones with that particular fabric. So not, you know, this little cotton fabric. It worked out really cost effective to make them yourself. They could be personalised. They were personalised for this young lady. And looking at it, I thought, well, why not? So I might, not saying definite, I might branch out and put a few of those into my shop. Again, they will be reasonably priced because I feel very strongly about this. Having been a special needs teacher and seeing the price of the equipment and even if you wanted a simple, well, nothing simple, is it? Nothing simple with the equipment and things when you've got a child with cerebral palsy that requires a wheelchair, a classroom chair, a sleep system. There's nothing simple, but everything comes with these enormous price tags. Clothing has to be is a bother to get because you either need something that is bigger or smaller or rides higher in the back, or there are issues even with the clothing to buy, and things have to be sorted, and as I said, slightly bigger to get them into them, and then they're always in big baggy clothes, or yeah. So anyway, enough on that. I made goodness knows how many bibs eventually. Bless her heart. Her mother was exceedingly patient with me because I did promise to get them done before Matty, and then things got away from me and I didn't manage to get them done before Matty, and then post Matty it took me forever to get any sort of sewing time back. William decided to stop sleeping properly. He wasn't napping, so it took me quite a while to adjust to us being a family of 4, and William took quite a while to adjust to having a little brother around the place. So she was very patient with me. I got the bibs done. I shall insert some photos of the finished objects here. So that kind of really taken us on to sewing finished objects. So let's get those out of the way. Finished object sewing, I've got all the bibs. I've recently made my little boys a matching set of pyjamas. I shall insert some photos. Rather than holding them up and showing them here, much easier to just insert some photos of them actually wearing it, because they wouldn't be cooperative enough to actually, you know, parade past the camera for me. So I just about managed to get some halfway decent photos, so I shall insert the photos of them in their matching pyjamas here. The next bit then, another finished object, is more in the same fabric, miles of this. This obviously is not for my little boys. This is for the big boy in the house. This is my husband. So the fabric was originally bought for just a loose pair of like pajama trousers for James. So just got a ribbing band on the top. I didn't use a pattern. Probably should have done. There's a couple of alterations I want to make to the pattern that just for my own peace of mind with it, really. But yeah, so he's got a pair of matching pyjamas as well. So that is, James and the boys have all got matching pyjamas. So that's my finished sewing objects. I've also then started working on another one of these wonderful things, a Tilly and the Buttons cocoa dress. And that I'm working on in this lovely sort of like a dusty blue fabric. This was the fabric that I picked up on the Great London Yarn Crawl. I went on the Great London Yarn Crawl a good couple of years ago now with Pins and Needles UK, Zoe of Pins and Needles UK, and Jen of Owl About Yarn, and my mum. We went up, traipsed all the way around London. This was the one we went on with William. So William was, gosh, 5 months old, and I traipsed the whole way around London with a backpack on and William in a sling on my front. So I think I did pretty darn well that time. So yes, I've got a cocoa dress in the making there. That's the arms there. Ooh. Ah, haha. Sorry, opening it up and finding more bits that don't look like cocoa, and they're not. They are Barcelona joggers. So the pair of joggers that you saw my little boy wearing in the photos, both my little boys wearing in the photos, they're called Barcelona joggers. And those Barcelona joggers, I am making another pair of trousers. I think lengthwise they look like they're cut out for William. What I might do, because I found with the Barcelona joggers, the rise height on the bum section doesn't seem to come up enough and want to stay up round their waists and cover up the nappy. But likewise with the fitted tee, both my boys seem to have very long bodies, so I need to make notes. I need to start making notes on my pattern envelopes, and I need to make notes and cut them bigger. So what I might do is just chop some length off those and add the rise height of the bigger patterns on a smaller waist size, if that makes sense. Anyway, I hope it does. But yeah, so anyway, I'm making a cocoa dress, and I'm at the point where I've got hundreds of these in. I'm at the point of putting some sleeves in by the looks of it. I haven't picked it up for a little while. Yes, just about to put the second sleeve in by the looks of it. I'm going to pin them together. I've got hundreds of these little wonderful clips falling out at me. And so yes, it's sleeve insertion time. So I've obviously done all the neckline. There. Done the shoulders, stabilising with a bit of ribbon. Done all the shoulders. So it's just a case of, yes, I stopped doing the cocoa to do the tractor trousers for everybody, so I haven't been back to it for a while. And then some more Barcelona joggers that are already cut out. So that is my sewing for the last, I don't know how long. So it's still a fair bit of sewing considering I've got two small people. And I think I'm going to wrap it up for there at the moment. I will continue on with any other bits and pieces once I've sorted little man out. Woohoo! So yeah, that is my knitting, my sewing and my fabric acquisitions for this time. In a fortnight then I will try and show you my yarny acquisitions. I will tell you all about the yarny bits and pieces I've been up to. Hopefully I'll have a few more dyeing, etc. yarny bits and pieces to show you in a fortnight, and I will do my pattern acquisitions then as well and talk to you about all the different patterns. So yarny acquisitions, yeah, I'll write a list. Best write a list, and best write a list soon. Otherwise my brain at the moment, it'll be gone. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed today's slightly, I haven't got any notes, put together podcast. Ta-da! If you would like to follow me a bit more, you can find me on Instagram as Tyddyn Bryn. You can find me on, there's a Facebook page of Tyddyn Bryn, there's a Ravelry group with Tyddyn Bryn. You can watch a bit more of On the Small Holding, which is also on the same YouTube channel you have found this on. If you like the videos, think about giving me a thumbs up down below, and have a think about subscribing, and then you'll get my videos posted straight to your inbox. So there's also a blog, tyddynbryn.com. There's a blog over there and links to all the different places I sell various patterns. So Tyddyn Bryn on Etsy and Ravelry and Love Knitting sites, and I'm hopefully looking at expanding those shortly, and maybe selling my wares on a few more platforms. So we shall see how that progresses. So very slowly at the rate I'm progressing, but you know, slowly is better than nothing. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed, and I shall speak to you again soon. And we have a little visitor just appearing. You gonna come quickly say hello? Quick! You gonna come and say hello? Jump up then. You gonna wave? Say hi. No? You're mesmerised, aren't you? Because you can see you on the camera. Anyway, until next time. Bye-bye.